where is the similar mob to Mussolini's and Hitler's in the modern democratic era?
Well, I would say that there are a lot of similarities to the French Revolution. No.
Nearest thing to it?
No, they're much closer to the original Tea Party, which, and actually not as much of a rabble as the original Tea Party, which, as I point out, the Founding Fathers weren't wild about the original Tea Party, curiously enough, because they were so against mobs.
Are you wild about them?
About who?
The Tea Party.
Oh, the current Tea Party?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I love them.
So I don't really get that.
I speak to them.
I don't get that, because you're a smart cookie.
So are the Tea Partiers.
Whatever people think about you, you're intelligent, you may be provocative. Underneath
I believe you are insulting the Tea Partiers.
Well, a lot of them aren't the brightest of spanners, are they?
They're smarter than any liberal.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
You really think that?
Yes, I do. And I meet them and I speak to them and they get my jokes, which already makes them smarter than the average liberal.
Is that why you think they're so smart?
Well, it makes them smarter than the average liberal. I'm always having to explain, map out how the joke works
when you talk, as your publisher does again here, liberals use mobs to seize power and impose their theories on the populace for the good of humanity. I think Sarah Palin, when I read that, who whether you like her or not is irrelevant, is a brilliant rouser of the populace. Like nothing else in politics right now, after Obama himself in his last election, she is doing an incredible job marshalling her base. But she also comes out with some pretty inflammatory stuff, and that surely arouses a mob mentality. You wouldn't dispute that.
I don't think she's inflammatory. I think she's a great speaker. What do you think she said that's inflammatory?
Putting crosshairs on people's heads? On websites?
Come on. I talk about that in the book, too.
Is that inflammatory?
That was invented by Democratic strategist Bob Beckel, as he admitted on TV.
You go back to the Democrats. I'm asking you about Sarah Palin.
Where's the camera?
That's a good book, don't get me wrong.
I'm going back to the book because I talk about the crosshair issue.
Your default process in an argument.
Let me answer this one because it's a beautiful example of something in the book.
Your default process throughout this so far is fascinating. Every single time I ask you a question, rather than answer about Sarah Palin and crosshairs, you instinctively go, what about the Democrats?
Piers, darling, if I were selling you a book, if I were talking about a book that I had just written about dogs, and you ask me, what comforts old people? I would say, why, Piers, dogs do. In fact, I talk about it in my book. My book is called How the Liberal Mob is Endangering America, and I talk about the crosshairs issue, and if I could answer the question on the crosshairs issue. It is a perfect example of totally contradictory thinking by the left in America, an example of the mob, where they go around hysterical at Sarah Palin putting these crosshairs on congressional districts. It was done by the Democratic National Committee. It was invented by a liberal. It's a classic thing in politics, and it wasn't on her face.
Was it a sensible thing to do, full stop?
Yes! It's fine for both the Democrats and the Republicans to do it.
Would you encourage them to carry on doing it?
Yes! That isn't what caused Jared Taylor to shoot up a shopping mall.
How do you know?
Because we know that he's out of his mind.
Mentally unstable guy? As it turns out, it didn't have any connection, it would appear.
As it turns out, he was a liberal.
But how would you have felt if actually he was mentally unstable, he had seen the website, he misunderstood the instruction from the crosshair, and he went and did the same thing? Then what would you think?
Well, what if I walk out of the studio tonight and someone who's seen you accusing me of being mean to liberals is so ginned up he shoots me? Would you not ask any of the questions you're asking?